All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our anime panel. Are we ready? Yes, this is Sunday Fun Day. Give it up one more time for Peter Weller. Yes. Awesome panel. Let's bring in our anime panel. Aberdeen, are you ready? All right, we love to hear it. Starting out with Brandon McInnis. Oh, we can do better than that. Show him some applause. Any chair you want. We also have J. Michael Tatum. Yes, please welcome also Jad Saxton. And finally, please welcome Emily Neves. We can do better than that. Aberdeen, welcome our anime panel. There we go. They get a little rowdy on Sunday Fun Day. How are you guys doing? Great. Whoop.
Good.
Are you
Good.
there?
There we are.
Got
There we
it.
are. Hello.
Hello.
Well, first of all, if you're just joining us, you can ask a question. We've got a microphone here to my left and here to my right, so please don't be shy. Come and ask our lovely panel a question. We'll go down the line here, though. How has the Comic-Con experience been for you?
Oh, it's been great. It's been wonderful. I felt like we got a proper Scottish introduction when we got off the plane on Thursday. I think Thursday, Friday?
I don't remember
Thursday.
what is time
What is
anymore.
time, right. We got off the plane and we had to go down these stairs. And we exit the plane and we're just immediately pelted by freezing rain. And I was like, this is very proper. I was very happy about that, actually.
Yes, I felt like we got a good, proper Scottish experience the minute we stepped onto Scottish soil. It was as advertised. I loved it.
Yeah, it's been absolutely lovely. I got to spend some time in Edinburgh before heading to Aberdeen, and I love it here. It's so gorgeous, so beautiful.
Yes, I spent a few days up in the Highlands in Inverness and the surrounding area, and I actually had a very sunny first couple of days here, and I was like, this is strange. This is not what I was told it was going to be like. And then on the third day that I was here, it was cold and rainy. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. But yeah, the con's been amazing. It's been wonderful to talk to everyone and meet fans and stuff, so very happy to be here.
So many nice people here at Comic-Con Aberdeen. Now tell me about anime. I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of cosplay here at the con of some very familiar faces, but what brought you into the industry? Were you a fan and then you thought, I have to do this?
Yes, I didn't plan on getting into voiceover, but I was a fan when I was younger. So much so that I actually majored in Japanese in college and worked as a translator in Tokyo, and then. Yeah, I didn't plan on coming over here. You know, it happened. It just
Yes, it happens.
we're all on our own journey.
Yeah, same thing. I was an anime fan from a very young age, but I never really thought about being in it. But I was an actor, a stage actor, for many, many years. And then a friend of mine that was directing for Funimation, the Dragon Ball Z people, was like, "Hey, you're an actor. Do you want to be in this?" And I was like, "Sure. How does this work?" And here I am. It's good. Yeah, it's an actor, so you go where the work is, and you kind of learn what the work is as you go, and it's kind of nice. Yeah, but now I love it even more.
Yeah, my story is pretty much exactly the same as yours. I was doing a lot of theater for many, many years and also music background as well. And then I got an audition for something and just kind of kept going from there. And now I've been doing it for about 15 years. And I'm acting as well as directing now.
My story is almost exactly the same as both of yours. I was a stage actor, and I started at Sentai, though, down in Houston. But same thing, in theater for many, many years, and then had a friend who told me that Sentai was looking for new female talent, and so I went in and did kind of like a sort of just general audition where they put me through the rigors of different kinds of characters, and got a small role in Kiba, and then I've been doing it ever since.
The rest is history. Love that. Well, obviously I've been to many Comic-Cons and I see a lot of anime, and I feel like my background's in professional wrestling. I feel like wrestling and anime have something in common. I know that's going to sound weird, but I feel like the fans are, first of all, they're so loyal, and you don't meet people that go, oh, I kind of like anime. They either don't know about it or they are die-hard loyal fans. Would you agree?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, almost across the board. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the fan base that you've met here in Comic-Con Aberdeen, how's it been? Are they just...
Oh, it's been wonderful.
Yes?
Yeah. It's been great. It's been fun.
A lot of my hero fans out here, for sure. Yeah.
You're also well behaved.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a Scottish thing, but American anime fans are wonderful, and we love them. but they are. You know they love anime from 3 miles away, and here everyone's like, "Hi, how are you?" And we're like, "Oh."
Gentle,
so
very
kind.
You're
gentle.
so but there's something about America. I mean, we're just Americans. It's American general. We're like, hey, and so that's sort of how the fandom works too. But it's very nice. But everyone's so polite and so sweet and
Friendly.
like just mild mannered. It's lovely. It's refreshing.
That's something that I've noticed about Scotland in general. I'm like, is this the friendliest group of people anywhere in the world? I mean, everybody's so kind and generous, and I feel like the fans have been just a continuation of that. So
It's
thank
lovely.
you.
Yes, round of applause for yourselves.
Yes.
You really are a lovely, lovely group. One question for me, then we've got a question to the left. And guys, don't be shy. Please come up and ask a question. We've got a mic here and there. Question for me, you mentioned the fandom and meeting lovely people. I think a lot of, there's a very polarizing thing about social media nowadays. So how do you guys use it? Do you find it positive, negative, a bit of both? I mean, sure, you have to kind of use it for your brand to kind of spread the word about what you're doing. Yeah.
It's ever evolving. I started on Facebook, then you had to go to the Twitters, then the Instagrams, and then recently, like just a couple months ago, I decided to dip my toe into TikTok because I'd been lurking on there for a year and a half and was addicted, and now I'm doing TikTok, and that seems to be where a lot of the anime fandom has kind of migrated to, is on TikTok. But they're doing so many cool, fun, creative things, like all the cosplayers and just the artists and all the different things they're doing. So it's actually a really fun platform. Of course, there's the negativity that comes along with all of that, but I tend to laugh that off, and I'm a big friend of the block button.
Yes. Yeah, that's well put. I'm the same way. I'm still trying to figure out social media. I mean, I can barely work my cell phone. I feel like 1,000 years old. What is this technology? But Brandon got me on TikTok during the lockdown period of the pandemic in the States because I was just bored out of my mind. He's like, you should do it. It's fun. It's like little skits. And I'm like, skits.
Have you seen the cooking TikToks that he does? Has anyone seen the cooking TikTok? Please raise your hand if you've seen the cooking TikTok. Hey!
And it was really nice. It's like, I'm not a chef. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, let's try to make this.
It's so soothing. You're like, today we'll be
it's-
making
yeah.
cauliflower. And you're like, yes, we will, won't we?
I love it. I want to tell like a funny like observation. It doesn't matter what you do on social media. Someone's going to be like, but what? I was making a TikTok about making a chicken dish, and chicken is in the name of the dish, so it's like it's chicken. And I go through this whole thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I love this. Oh, you should try it. Whatever." But one person's like, "What if you don't like chicken?" And I was like, "Why are you watching this?"
That one guy.
Or you make a chicken dish and they say, when is season 3 of whatever coming out? Like it has nothing to do with it.
It's really fun. It's the price of interacting with people because it's like a big platform. But yeah, I am terrified of social media because I'm every time I open my mouth, I put my foot in it, and I'm like, oh, thank God, there's never a record. Like, thank God, the internet was not around when I was a kid, so no one can see me in my goth phase, which was awful. Like, I'm so glad those pictures
like it was
don't
in real
survive.
I want to see it so
Nope,
bad.
they're all
We actually have a
burned.
photo of you in the goth face, so we're going to take a look at it right. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh
Can you
my
imagine?
God, that'd be great.
I would be
you
so
imagine?
excited.
Social media can be a very scary place, but we do encourage all of you guys to follow them on social media. And of course, the information is on our website. We're going to take some questions from some of our lovely guests here. We're going to go to the left first. Hiya.
Hi, so what's been your favorite anime you've all worked on?
It's really, really hard, but I always go back to this one Momota hosted a film I did called Wolf Children, just because it holds a special place in my heart, and like I have really good memories of the whole process of doing it and it coming out in like such a dramatic fashion. Like we were in a room, I'm not kidding, about this size, maybe slightly smaller, with 3,000 people premiering the film, and that's something that I don't think will ever happen in my life again. To be in a room with people seeing your work for the first time. And like anime fans, I'm sure you know because you are very reactive. And like hearing that, and like we never get to do that. Like we never get to hear the reactions except for when we meet y'all, but like live, I'll never forget that. And it's just such a special, like lovely, lovely film. So
it sure is.
And I play Yuki in that, by the way, if you watch it, yeah. Yes. Highly recommend.
Mine has to be, and again, it's a hard thing to choose because you fall in love with just about every project you work on for some reason or other, because you get clever actors. We get swept up in things. But as far as one of the best things I've ever gotten to work on that I think I would still love even if I had nothing to do with it professionally is Steins Gate as one of my all-time favorite anime. And we had a similar experience where we premiered the first 3 episodes dubbed to a room of about 3,000 people and got to watch. And I hadn't even seen it yet. I was one of the adaptive writers and the lead, and I'm like, oh, I hope I'm good. And it's like we're having this journey together, everyone. And
it's nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking, and it was almost like doing live theater again for the first time, where I'm like, we're gonna see, and it was wonderful. People just, you get to see them all react and feed off of each other's reactions, and there was this great little moment. I'll never forget it. There's this beautiful scene in the first episode where a character, I won't set up too much, but she's just kind of listening to these locusts in these trees, and there's this, she's just kind of daydreaming, and she just comments, and it's very quiet, and she just comments, they're so loud, and it's a very sweet moment in context, but we happen to be premiering it where there was a concert going on next door, and at that moment when everything's supposed to be quiet on the screen, you hear this and you just hear the character go, they're so loud, and everyone, it was just perfect, and everyone's like, that became a meme thereafter, and it was just would never have happened except for the live performance, and it's so special. But yeah, well, what about you guys?
You talk about live performance, or like hearing people react to your work. We went to the latest My Hero Academia movie premiere in LA, which was quite an experience. It was the first time we'd been to an LA premiere.
Yeah.
Which we've been to the Dallas premiere previous, which is very different. The LA premiere was in the same venue that they held the Emmys at, and they just kind of went all out. And it was mixed for Dolby sound, and it was very overwhelming and really cool to watch. And it was just neat to hear people in it right there. So
it's a good film too. I think that. Oh, sorry. Yes. No. I think that my favorite anime that I've ever worked on is kind of an obscure one. It's called From the New World. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with that. It was a Sentai title, and it's similar to My Hero plot-wise in that it's about a world where everyone has psychic powers, telekinesis, things like that. And my character, Saki, she's sort of a late bloomer. And but what I like about the story is that I play the character at 12, 14, 26, and 36. And so I got to play this character throughout most of her life and watch her come into her own in this really interesting world. And then also, by the end, I don't want to give any spoilers, but seeing her discover the injustices of the world and fight against them and come into her own that way, it was just a really satisfying journey. And it's just beautiful world building. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend From the New World is what it's called.
We've got a question on the right.
What was it like when you were when you were recording your first ever voice lines?
Oh, wow.
First ever?
A trip. And there was also a little bit of like, oh, that's what I sound like? Ooh, okay. So
I must have blacked out. Like, I think I remember going to the building and like being there, but I don't know that I remember the exact experience just because I think it was pretty surreal and I was very nervous not to like mess up or screw up anything. So I remember the moments kind of before and after, but not really the moments during. Yeah.
So I had a weird experience. I didn't realize I was recording. I mean, I knew I was recording. I didn't know I was recording a performance that was ever going to be published. I thought I was tricked by the same friend who was like, hey, you want to act? And I was like, the real story is he was like, hey, I've got this show, and you're a stage actor. Do you want to come in and try voice acting? And I was like, no. Because I had no concept of what it was. I'm like, I have no training in voice acting. No, I couldn't possibly. And so he finally convinced me to, after weeks of trying to, he just really wanted me for this role, but he knew I would resist it. So he was like, look, you're not going to get the part. Just come in and lay down what's called a scratch track, which we don't do in dubbing, by the way, but I had no idea. No one told me how this worked. And I was like, oh, a scratch track is when you kind of come in and you lay down and you get the timing right so the actor they do can very simply listen to you and repeat what you did in their own voice, and it just saves a lot of time sometimes. But it's not often done. It's never done in dubbing. No. I didn't know. So I thought I was just laying down a scratch track, and I was like, this is weird. I'm awful. Can you imagine me doing this for a living, you guys? Oh, my God. And then we got out of the booth, and I was like, so what? Who's going to get the part? And he was like, you are. You just signed a contract. And I was like, that's what I signed? I had no idea. And so I totally got tricked into it. So I didn't know. But I wonder now, looking back on it, like how awful I would have been had I known I was actually recording a performance for posterity. I probably would have been so in my head. And so I just loosened up and had fun with it because I thought we were just messing around.
Yeah,
I
low
really had no,
stakes.
yeah. And so I was like, so the next week I went in to record more on the same character and I was like, oh, okay. And now I'm terrified. And it was much rougher going. He's like, just pretend like you're laying down a scratch track. I'm like, it doesn't work anymore. So yeah. What
That's
about
hilarious.
I got lucky because my first VO gig was with Ian. Ian was directing on Black Butler, Book of Circus. And it was just this thing of like, oh, hey, you want to come in and voice the cats? Because I think it'd be hilarious because his character doesn't care about anyone except for cats. And that's like Michael in real life with you, Brandon. So I think that'd be great. And so I came in and just did some cats, and it was very chill. And then he was like, oh, do you have a British accent that you could use on a character? I'm like, sure, whatever, let's try it. Well, if it doesn't work, then we won't use it. I'm like, cool, okay. And it worked, and it was good.
Got a question to the left. Hiya.
If you could have voiced any other character on My Hero Academia, who would you have chosen?
All of them. I'm greedy. No, that's a hard question to answer because now that we've been doing the show for however many years, we've gotten so accustomed. I mean, I don't mean to speak for everybody, but I know for my part, I feel like I can't imagine anyone else doing any of those other roles now. I'm so associated with them that I'm like, I think we all, when we got the auditions, we all tried out for multiple characters. But I've now completely forgotten about my take on those characters because I'm so invested in mine, and now I hear everyone else, and I just can't imagine anyone else doing it. So I honestly don't have a desire to play any other role than the one I'm in because I think it's such a strong ensemble cast.
I would have been a great Bakugo.
I really
That's
want
a
to
fact.
voice
That is
Mount
a fact.
Lady.
All Might for sure. Yeah.
I want to see
No,
that.
but you can, and a lot of people have played multiple roles on the show. So
that's true.
I'm always
I played
interested. I would love to play a villain. I think that would be really fun. Yeah.
Be a great villain.
A new one.
Thank you. We'll take another question on the right. Hiya.
Okay, this is going to sound really random, but did you participate in dancing to Gangnam Style, and do you still remember the dance?
No, and no.
I mean, no, but I think I remember the video.
I remember the video.
Remember the
Yeah.
video.
I feel like this is a trap. What if
I've
the
never
answer is
done
yes?
It's a trick question.
Would you be able to do the dance?
Oh, I don't remember anything about it. Sorry.
I do not remember.
I actually don't. I'm not a dancer, you guys. I can't.
I feel like there's some Arsenio Hall move in it, right? Like
there's
like a little bit of that or
here's a-
rodeo.
I think I remember the
Pineapple.
Macarena.
Here's a pen.
Macarena?
Pineapple pen. Is that same video?
Pin,
or is that a
pineapple,
different
apple
one?
pin?
No, it's not the same, but
Same
I
era.
didn't find out about that until 2021. And I became obsessed with
It's
that.
hilarious. Sorry to disappoint. Yeah.
Sorry. There's a reason we're voice actors.
Thank you. There's a question here on the left.
Hello. Has there been any time when you've been like reading the script in any of the animes that you've been a part of where you just couldn't stop laughing your head off when you were trying to voice act them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Frequently,
Yes.
yeah.
Does anyone know the show Nambaka? Okay, good. Oh, thank you. Rico Fajardo voices an announcer in that, and there were a lot of beautiful liberties taken in the adapted script that were hilarious. And Rico, for whatever reason, when Rico's doing this announcer, it was just full of words that had to be bleeped out. So it's just Rico shouting, and it's like bleep, bleep, beep, 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 beep. And I could not. It took me like 20 minutes to calm down enough from laughing so hard to keep recording. It was great.
There was a line in Oron, which was my first real big role in the industry, and it's a great show. I love it. It's got such a good rewatch value, and now that it's like 15 years old, and God knows the second season's never gonna happen. Stop asking. I say that I have no idea, but there's a line when Kyoya is talking to Tamaki, and he calls him daddy, and it's just a very offhanded line, and he says, "What is it?" And like Tamaki's whining about something, and he says like, "What is it now, daddy?" And I had no concept of why he was saying it like that, and so my only frame of reference for saying that to another person who's not your father is like, "What is it now, daddy?" And Because I thought, okay, I guess we're going there. And, you know, it's the script, it's the job, it's what I do. I don't question it. And Caitlin, the show's director, she's also the lead, Haruhi, just started cracking up. She's like, no, that's far too sexy. Tone it down. I'm like, okay. What is it now, Dad? No, still set. And we must have gone through 50 takes of like me, and we just were cracking up. I could not say it in a way that didn't sound like, happy birthday, Mr. President. And so... And finally, Caitlin was just like screaming she's like, stop talking like that. And I was like, what is it now, Daddy? She's like, oh my God, there it is. And like, you know, half an hour later and 50 takes, we get it. And we were just, we had to stop the rest of the night. We were cracking up so bad at my inability to say the word daddy without making it gross.
Got a question over here on the right.
Have you ever been like out ordering like a Starbucks or something and then someone recognizes your voice? How does that go?
Okay, so
No?
I'm actually a very shy person in public. At cons, it's different, you know, we're on, it's a job. Plus, you all love us, so you come up, and it's like, if you're coming to say hello, I assume you like what we do. But in public, I try to be invisible, I'm smaller. I'm just not a very extroverted person out in you know, that place they call the real world, which is terribly boring and awful. But, so if I get recognized, like, at a con, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? And we'll chat, you know, because we have immediately shared ground we can talk about. But if it happens in public, I'm like, ah! It's like a little Michael-shaped cloud as I disappear. But it's happened. It happened once when I was with my family. Brandon and I were with my family. My mom was having a birthday, and she has one every year. And we were sitting at a table, like 8 or 9 of us. And my family's very loud, and they're very. I know. Imagine me coming from a loud family. And and they have no real concept of what any of this is. They kind of know that I'm a voice actor, but
They're very Bostonian Italian.
Yeah, so we
just
we just pick on each other. I mean, it's with love, but we're very, you know, we kind of bust each other's chops a lot. And they had never seen this happen. And I was talking to my nephew and I'm cursing like a sailor because we just do that in my family. And then I feel this little tap on my shoulder, and I turn. It's my sister-in-law going, "Someone to see you, Michael." And it's this, you know, young girl who's doing the universal, "Oh my God, you're J. Michael Tatum," which is. And I was like, and my family watched me went from 0 to 60. I was like, yeah, well, shut up, and like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Oh my God, how's your night going? And it was just, and they all started cracking up just to see me go into like saying hi to a fan mode. And then she got a picture, said a couple things. I signed something for her, and off she went. And then my family was like, what was that? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fans. They're very nice. They're very nice. She was very nice. And my sister-in-law was like, call her back. Let's buy her dinner. Like, let's get to know her. I'm like, no, please don't do it. They're shy. But it happens sometimes. It happens.
This isn't somebody recognizing my voice. And look, I'm going to get real here. There was a time in 2020 where, like a lot of us, I filed for unemployment. And I was on the phone with a gentleman working, helping me out. And when I gave him my name, he was like, wait, are you Emily Neves, the anime voice actor? I was like, oh, yes, I am, actually. And he knew who I was, and, like, we talked about anime, and it was very surreal. I'm like, well, here I am filing for unemployment, and... Yeah,
but did it help?
It did help.
Oh,
It did help. I was having a problem. Like, I had hit a roadblock, and after that, he went the extra mile for me, and I was very grateful. And then we became mutuals on Twitter, and now we're like friends. So
good.
thanks, Shane. So sweet. It's like a worlds colliding thing. It was like, oh, yeah.
That's wild.
We've got a question over here to the left. Hiya.
Hi, my name is Kayla. My question's for J. Michael Tatum. You said that you stopped watching Attack on Titan after episode
Yes.
25.
I haven't seen a single episode since Erwin died.
Does that ever like drive you a little bit crazy? Like, do you have, like,
It's no, because it's kind of how I cope. This is gonna sound really strange, perhaps, but like I really bonded with that character, right? It's a great show, and I'm really proud to have been part of it. And it's directed by one of my best friends, and it's written by another friend of mine. So the show's very close to my heart. And having to let go of him, although I knew it was coming for years, was really hard. And so not watching the show is kind of how, it sounds so weird and like pretentious, but it's true. Not watching the show is how I grieve. for him, because I think he was an excellent character, and I was really lucky to get to play him, and what he means to other people, especially people that served in the military or serve in the military. It's really special. So it's kind of like, in a weird way, it's not, I know it can sound like I'm being petty, like, no, I won't watch the show because I'm not in it anymore, but it's real, it's more like, no, I just know, it's how I grieve for him. In a weird way, and so I don't want to know what he didn't get to know, because that's his big tragedy, and I don't want to be like flippant about it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you.
That's very sweet and very deep.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
We've got a question over here to the right.
Hello. Is there any other anime characters you would like to play from other animes that you've like heard of or seen?
There's a character from when I was much younger. Called Blackjack, who was like this sort of rogue surgeon, and it was really cool. It's like a medical drama, like espionage type thing, and it was a manga. It goes back to like the 50s and 60s, and they started making anime in the 80s, and it's one of those things that's kind of come back again every now and then. But I love that character since I was very little, and I would love the chance to play him at some point. He's always been one in the back of my mind since I was very little.
We have time for one more question, and then we've got to let them get back to the autograph area. We'll go to this lovely lady on the left.
Hi, you're probably asked this at every con, but can you please say your favorite quotes from your characters from My Hero, please?
Oh, that's a good way to bring it home.
I'm supposed to say trick or treat?
Thank you.
I don't know an exact quote, but I'm going to assume that it's like, "Shut up, Momo!"
I think my favorite line didn't make the cut because I did a version of it that I thought was really funny, and they're like, that is funny, but it's too out of character. It's when they're disguised as like thugs. I think if you've seen the like blooper reel or whatever, it's like he's like, and he looks stupid. He's like he just does not look like a thug at all. And he actually looks like a very nice young man. And he's like, we're just a couple of thugs cruising for chicks, because it just fit the mouth perfectly. And that's been my favorite Ida line that never, I'm like, it's a tragedy that it wasn't in there.
I have to preface this by saying this is my favorite line because in the end, it was wrong. But anyway, All Might chose wrong after all. Mirio should have inherited the power. Ooh.
Well, if I were making you perform, thank you for that so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our amazing anime panel.
Thank you.
Brandon, J. Michael,
you.
Jad, and Emily. Yay. And the good news is if you have more questions, they're going to be here for the rest of Comic-Con Aberdeen at the autograph area. Come by for a photo op and an autograph and give them one more big round of applause.